Let's go.
Mr. Squidward, welcome to the night shift.
Well, hello there, everybody. Happy Tuesday night. I hope all of you guys are doing well, wherever you guys may be on this great land. And welcome into a very special edition of the Night Shift here on the MI6 Sports Network. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, hey, where's Callan? Where's Callan McClure? I thought it was a sports lounge tonight. But Callan is busy. He's got some stuff going on with work tonight. So I will be filling in for Callan, not on the Sports Lounge tonight, but on a special edition of the Night Shift here on the MI6 Sports Network. Folks, this is going to be a very special show as, you know, we don't really have a script or anything like that. I'm going to just be opening up this new pack of baseball cards that I got a couple of days ago. Going to be opening up, revealing who I got in this pack of cards. And then also I'll be taking, your guys' questions and comments and concerns regarding all things sports. So feel free to fire away anything college football you want to ask me, anything NFL you want to ask me, anything NBA, MLB, and even NHL. Yes, Callan, I know some hockey. Might not know a lot, but I do know some hockey. So make sure you guys feel free to fire away in the comment section. Anything sports related, feel free to ask me, and I will read your comments and also answer them live on the air. But before we get into the card revealing portion of the show, and before we get into the question and answering session of this show, I want to start off this show by talking about, before we get into the card revealing and everything like that, I want to start off by getting into USC firing Clay Helton. You guys know I went on that long rant yesterday about how Clay Helton absolutely, positively needed to go. Heck, he should have been fired 4 years ago. This was a long time coming for USC. I'm glad that the USC Trojan administration finally got to their senses and fired Clay Helton yesterday. I never thought that this day was ever going to happen. Thank the Lord that they did. Now as to who should be the next head coach at the University of Southern California, I got a couple of names for you guys. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I got a couple of names that I think should be the next head coach at USC. Number one, Jack Del Rio. I've been stumping for Jack Del Rio for the last 3-4 years, ever since I made up my mind and wanted Clay Helton gone at Southern Cal. Jack Del Rio should be the next head coach at USC because Jack Del Rio, first of all, he is a former Trojan. He's a Trojan alum. He knows the program very well. Secondly, he's a guy that is a hard-nosed, no-nonsense type of coach. Also, Jack Del Rio, he brings toughness. He's going to be able to fix USC's discipline issues that they have. You look at the team. Heck, they were legitimately celebrating on the sidelines when it was 42 after they had scored a touchdown to make it 42-20. What are you doing celebrating when it's when you're down 42-20 midway into the fourth quarter. Like that's stupid right there. Jack Del Rio would not tolerate any of that crap. He will be able, I believe, to be able to recruit, because not only did he play for USC, he played at the highest level at USC, and also he can bring something to the table where the players will adore, and that is Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio knows how to get players to play in the NFL. He's coached in the NFL at the highest level. He knows how to develop young players. Look what he did with the now Las Vegas Raiders, the former Oakland Raiders. Heck, half of that club that you see there, Jack Del Rio developed. So Jack Del Rio, for me, he's my preferred candidate to be the next head coach at the University of Southern Cal. Other candidates, James Franklin, I think he would be a great coach for USC to hire, and Bob Stoops. I think Bob Stoops, you have to make that call, because I think Bob Stoops is itching to come back into coaching for the right situation. I don't think he's going to stay retired. I think he's going to come back into coaching, because I think that, if he wasn't itching to come back into coaching, why would he take the Dallas Renegades job in the XFL? Makes no sense whatsoever. Bob Stoops definitely wants to come back, in my opinion. So those are the three guys: Jack Del Rio, James Franklin, and Bob Stoops. Those are my preferred candidates at USC. Urban Meyer, I don't think is a legit candidate, because even though he's having issues right now in Jacksonville, I don't see him pulling a Bobby Petrino and quitting mid-season and coming to the University of Southern Cal. And also, I think Urban Meyer, because he's got all the power in Jacksonville. It's basically his organization. I think he will see that through for 2 years at least at Jacksonville before he decides to either step down because of health issues or decides to vote that organization. So feel free to fire away in the comment section. Who do you guys want to be the next head coach at USC? I'll definitely read them live on the air. But let's go, baby. It is baseball card reveal time. We got this 2019 Topps baseball cards set. We got 5 cards in this deck. I don't know anybody in this deck. Like, what I mean is, I don't know who's in here. I haven't opened it yet. I haven't looked in it yet before this show. So this will be new to me as it is new to you guys. So get ready to enjoy this. We have, once again, the 2019 Topps of the class baseball cards for Major League Baseball. Thank you to my sister for getting me this. Let's go with the number 1 card in this deck, the first card in this deck, shall we? And let me pull them out right now. I'm not going to look because I want it to be fresh and I want it to be a surprise to myself. Let's see who we got here. And the first card is, wow, it's a pretty good one. He doesn't play for this team anymore. Mookie Betts, y'all. Mookie Betts is the first card that I got. It's him on the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure my guy Ben Kearse would like this card a lot. But Mookie Betts, former star outfielder of the Boston Red Sox, now superstar outfielder of the Los Angeles Dodger, World Series champ as well. So that's the first card that I got, Mookie Betts. It's a pretty good card to have. I wish I had him in the Dodger uniform instead, because it would be worth more than him in the Red Sox uniform. But hey, still Mookie Betts card, pretty great first card. Let's see. We have, not gonna look. All right, let's pull out the second card now. Let's see what we got here. All right, second card. Let's see who we got. Wow, this is an awesome card. Back to back, great cards for me to start this deck, and that is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, MVP candidate for the Los Angeles Dodgers, had a fantastic 2020, was a huge part of why the Dodgers won the World Series. Cody Bellinger is my second card. So I got Mookie Betts. That's the first card. Then I get Cody Bellinger. Basically, they're now teammates. They're now teammates in LA. So it's great. It looks like a Dodgers set. That's what I'm gonna say. And the back of the card looks like this, guys. Um, I don't know if that's like right here. Is that a quote from Cody Bellinger? But it says work hard in school, got or get great cards. I don't know if that's a quote by Cody Bellinger, but looking at Cody Bellinger, 2017, he was with the Arizona Dodgers, played one game, three at bats, a hit, a run. And then he was with Oklahoma City in 2017. He played in 18 games, 67 at bats. He had 5 home runs only. Wow. So 5 home runs in AAA in 2017. And then I don't know, for some reason, gets called up to the Dodgers, plays in 132 games. He has 480 at bats. And then he goes from 5 home runs in AAA to 39 in the major leagues. Like, wow, I don't know what happened. And then 2018, Cody Bellinger Dodgers, 162 games played, 557 at bats, and he goes to 25 home runs. But man, going from 39 home runs, then 25 home runs, and then after that, you go, from 5 home runs to 39 to 25 is simply remarkable. But you guys missed out on the beginning. Cody Bellinger, second card out of the deck. And we have Mookie Betts. So, as we wait for the questions to come on in, we'll get more cards into this mix. Let's see who we got here in this deck. All right, let's pick out card number 3. Ooh, this player is currently on his team right now, on the team that is listed on this card. It is Trevor Story. So I start out with Mookie Betts, then Cody Bellinger, then now Trevor Story. I expect him to be with the Rockies only for the next 3 weeks, and he will be out of Colorado after that. Trevor Story, one of my favorite shortstops in all of baseball. This guy, he hits for power. He has a great glove. He's a great defender. He's also a class act as well. So he's a really great baseball player. He was one of the guys that I really wanted on my Oakland A's, and I really wanted them to trade for because I think he would have been a major upgrade over Elvis Andrus. But Trevor Story, let's see what he got. His numbers are amazing. 27 home runs his first year in the bigs, 2016. Then he goes to 24 home runs with the Rockies, then 37. This guy is a monster. Like I said earlier, great defender. Guy hits for power. Guy not just hits for power, but he, hits singles, doubles, and triples as well. But he's just a complete hitter, and he's just a really, really good player. And whoever signs him in the offseason, they are getting a really, really good, impactful player. So, Trevor Story is my third card. Let's go to, as we continue to wait for more questions to come in, let's go to, wow, for some reason I got 6 cards. I don't know why I got 6 cards. It said 5 here in this deck, but hey, I'll take it. Maybe Topps made a mistake and then put one more in and miscounted. But let's go to the next card. Who we got here? We got Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns, the pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. Corbin Burns, this guy started out in the bullpen. It was a great success, and he has transitioned into being a starter for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's a really, really good sinker ball pitcher. I mean, when this guy is getting ground balls, he's totally unbeatable. So really good pitcher. Dominated the minor leagues, 1.05 ERA with Carolina. Then he had a 2.10 ERA with Biloxi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. And then unfortunately, however, he had a 5.15 ERA in Colorado Springs, but that's, Colorado Springs, and, Colorado Springs is a place where it's not friendly to the pitchers. So that I will excuse him for that. And then first year with the Brewers, 2018, a 2.61 ERA out of the bullpen. But like I said, this guy has transitioned into the starting rotation. He's been a monster for the Milwaukee Brewers, and heck, he just threw a no-hitter recently as well. So, or a combined no-hitter with Josh Hader, but this guy is a monster. And I'm glad that, I got him in my deck, but it's been a really good deck so far. I got Cody Bellinger from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mookie Betts, even though it says he's placed on the Red Sox, now with the Los Angeles Dodgers, as this deck of cards was from 2019. Trevor Story with the Rockies. He's going to be a free agent after the season. Hopefully my Oakland A's can sign him. It will be a major upgrade over Elvis Andrews. And then Corbin Burns is card number 4. So pretty good deck right now. My guy Justin Bossman tuning in to the program tonight. He says, Isaiah, you are the best. Thank you, Justin. Really appreciate you. Justin also says that Corbin Burns, he's on my fantasy team. Hopefully he is having a great season for you, Justin. Justin also has a prediction. The Blue Jays will win the World Series. Wow, what a bold prediction from Justin that the Blue Jays will win the World Series. And he says also that Trevor Story needs to come to the Toronto Blue Jays. Maybe to replace Marcus Semien, maybe he can transition to second base. I don't know if the Blue Jays have like a need for him though, because they do have Bo Bichette right now at that position. So, and don't forget Kevin Biggio as well. So, I don't know if they have that need for Trevor Story. It will definitely be a good addition for them because it'll add more power. But I just don't know where he fits in that infield for the Toronto Blue Jays. But guys, keep the questions and the comments coming. Any questions about sports, any questions about NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, anything, ask it to me and I will definitely answer them here on this program. Justin asked me, do you have the Yankees losing in the wild card? Actually, Justin, right now, I don't even have them getting into the wild card because I just think that this Yankee team, they are too, they're too inconsistent. It's like one time they're gonna rattle off 13 straight wins and look like the best team in baseball, and then the next thing you know, they lose 9 out of 11 to the freaking Orioles, and they get swept by the Blue Jays and other teams like that. Like, really? Like, this team is just really, really inconsistent right now. I know they won tonight, but they beat the Orioles 7-2, but I don't think they make the playoffs, Justin. I really don't. I think that the Yankees are going to miss the playoffs because I don't trust that bullpen. I think our oldest Chapman, he's a ticking time bomb. And also, I just don't trust their pitching staff. Besides Garrett Cole, Jameson Tyone, he's been up and down. Jordan Montgomery's been all right. Nestor Cortez started off really, really hot. Now he's cooled off a bit. So I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, Justin. That's why I don't even that's why I don't have them winning the wild card because I don't think they're even gonna get in. But good question, Justin. And also I want to ask you guys this right now before we continue, and that is, do you guys think that Aaron Boone would be fired if the Yankees missed the playoffs? So make comment on that. I will happily read your comments live here on the air. We have a couple of cards left. Before we get into that, though, I think we have a couple of questions and comments right now. Trying to wait for them to load, but let's go to the cards actually as we wait for these comments to slowly move into the comment box because my computer is so damn slow. Justin says fire Aaron Boone. So I think Justin thinks that Aaron Boone will be fired if the Yankees do in fact miss the playoffs like I'm predicting. Let's see here. All right, let's go to the cards. We got 2 cards left, folks, out of this 6-card deck. 2 cards left. Let's see who we got. I'm hoping maybe for an Oakland A. I'm hoping for Matt Chapman. That is who I'm hoping for. Maybe Matt Chapman or Matt Olson or 2019. This is kind of hard. Matt Chapman, Matt Olson would be on my wish list. Mike Fiers would definitely be on my wish list. I would definitely want a card of Mike Fiers. Trying to think of other cards that I would want. Bryce Harper definitely would be another one that I would definitely want for sure. I think that if I could get Bryce Harper, that would just make my night. And then I'm trying to think of the other like cards. Reese Hoskins would be another one that I would definitely like for sure. Anyone from the A's and the Phillies from 2019, I would definitely love to have them in my deck. But the final couple of cards, here we go, guys. Okay. This guy, unfortunately, is now not a part of the team that is listed on this card as he got traded during the trade deadline. Anybody want to guess who it is, by the way, that this card is on this card before I reveal it to you guys? Any guesses? Write them in the comment section now. I'll give you guys a minute to do that. But Justin asked me, what's my thoughts on John Wall? As he might get traded, where does he go and why? Justin, I saw this report today from Adrian Wojnarowski in the morning that the Rockets and John Wall are going to work together to try to find a trade for John Wall. I honestly don't know where he goes. I don't know if he even gets traded because with his ridiculous contract, he's going to get paid like a great amount of money the next couple of years, and I just don't know who's going to want to take on that contract. Like, if you're the Rockets, you're going to definitely have to give up a first-round pick, just like the Boston Celtics did when they unloaded Kemba Walker and his massive contract. You're going to definitely have to give up a number 1 pick at least to get someone to maybe take on John Wall and his ridiculous contract. And, Rockets general manager Raphael Stone said they're not going to do that, but that's the only way. I just think that you're going to be able to get rid of John Wall and get him traded is if you're going to give up a first-round pick, and I just don't think that the Houston Rockets are going to be willing to do that. So I don't think John Wall gets traded anywhere. I think he stays in Houston and has to, do what Chris Paul did when he was with Oklahoma City and prove that, hey, I can still play at a very, very elite level. Also, Justin asked me before we reveal the next card, what is your prediction for the Celtics this year? How many wins? Ooh. Good question, Justin. Really, really good question. You know what? For your Boston Celtics, I'm gonna say your Boston Celtics win 48 games because there was so much turmoil last year. You guys traded away Kemba Walker. You guys got Al Horford back. I just don't know how Al Horford, if he's going to get back to being the Al Horford that was great and phenomenal with the Boston Celtics. He's 3 years older now. I just don't know because I know the Celtics are banking on that. I don't know if he's going to be able to give you the same production like he did a couple of years back. Ime Udoka, you know, he wasn't really my choice to be the Celtics head coach. I would have wanted Rick Carlisle to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics. I thought the Celtics needed an experienced head coach. I thought they needed a no nonsense type of guy. I just think that, unfortunately, Justin, I think that Ime Udoka might be a puppet for Brad Stevens. I think Brad Stevens is pulling the strings from the sidelines. That's why he decided to hire a first-year head coach and not an experienced head coach that won't tolerate BS, that won't tolerate crap like Rick Carlisle would have done. I just don't think that Ime Udoka is really coaching the team. I think who's coaching the team is Brad Stevens. He's coaching them from the sideline. So, or from upstairs as the front office. So we'll see. I think they win 48 games. I know Tatum's going to be great. Brown's going to come back. I think he's going to be back to his usual self. I'm worried about the Celtics on the inside because this is how you beat the Celtics. Just bully them in the paint. Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, not Julio Okafor, Joel Embiid, those great bigs, they are going to give the Celtics a lot of issues because I just don't see Al Horford being able to replicate the production that he had 3 years ago and be able to go toe to toe with those bigs. And he's kind of right now, your top big man in the middle because I don't trust Tristan Thompson. I really don't. He hasn't been the same ever since LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we'll see it. But I think the Celtics, they're going to win 48 games in my opinion. But let's go to the next, the card that, I was asking you guys to give your guys' guesses upon. And, well, here it is, folks. Trey Turner. Trey Turner. It says Washington Nationals, but like I said earlier, this deck is from 2019. Trey Turner is now a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's kind of bittersweet that I got him because on one hand, he's a really, really good player, and I'm glad to have him as part of this deck. This guy is a great hitter. He's a guy that hits to all fields. He's not just a power threat, but he's a guy that hits singles, doubles, and also triples as well. He also is a problem. He's a problem with his legs. This guy can change games with his speed. He's definitely a speedster. He's just a dynamic player all around, and also he's got a tremendous glove as well. The reason why I say it's bittersweet, on one hand, I love him. I think he's a great player. Had him on my fantasy team one year, and he was great. But it's sad because this is one of the guys that I really, 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 really wanted to be an Oakland A. I love Starling Marte. Heck, I think the A's should build a statue in Oakland for Starling Marte because that's how great he's been to the A's. But Trey Turner would have been more amazing than Starling Marte. He would have been an upgrade at the shortstop position, which we desperately need because Elvis Andrews can't even hit a freaking softball, let alone a baseball. So Trey Turner, I don't know why, Billy Bean, you gave up Luzardo for Starling Marte. If you're going to give up Luzardo, why do you not just sell the farm if you're going to go all in instead of going halfway? Yes, I know you got Chafin. Yes, I know you got Yan Gomes. Yes, I know you got Josh Harrison. Yes, I know you got Starling Marte. But if you're going to trade your Luzardo, who had 6 years of control left, why don't you just go even more and trade Puck, trade Maybe even trade Matt Chapman because he wasn't having a great season. Trade these guys because this is the A's core, the current core, last chance to win, to have a chance to win it all. Now we're not even going to make the playoffs. So I don't know why Billy Beane and the A's did not. I don't know why they didn't, go all in. They just went halfway. It makes no sense whatsoever. But damn, man, I would have killed for Trey Turner to be an Oakland Athletic. But man, oh man. But it's been some great cards, man. Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Corbin Burns, and now Trey Turner, and also Trevor Story as well. Before we get to the last card, got a couple of comments from Justin. Justin, thank you so much for your comments, man. I really, really appreciate them. Let's see. He asked me, Isaiah, what is your thoughts on Zach Wilson's mom getting trolled in the DMs after his son's loss? I don't like it because, it's like people, this is what people need to understand. This is just sports. Why are we taking things so serious, man? You're really going to go to someone's family members after a loss and go into their DMs and troll them? Like, what are we doing? What is this society up to now? Like, what have we become, man? Like, I don't like it. This is just sports, people. If you're gonna take it that serious, you gotta grow up. But Justin also asked me, will David Ortiz be a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, because of his roids. When I vote for the Hall of Fame, okay? When I vote for the Hall of Fame, yes, I know people did drugs and all that stuff, but I'm going based on talent. David Ortiz would have hit all those home runs that he did without the damn steroids. And he didn't even test positive for steroids. It was just a BS or a report that came out, and now everybody's like, oh my gosh, David Ortiz took drugs just based on a report. David Ortiz never got caught. He passed every single drug test that he took. So people gotta stop putting Ortiz, who was a great player, even though I hated him because he did a lot of damage to my Oakland A's, but that's a different story for a different day. David Ortiz is a first ballot Hall of Famer. If you think he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, you got to get drug tested immediately because that's absolutely absurd. Man, I am losing my voice at the moment. But let's see. We have a couple of comments loading in right now to the chat box. Justin asked me, do you have an MLB Hall of Fame vote? No, I don't, Justin. Unfortunately, I wish I did because I would not be like one of those old reporters and writers out there that are, either like, I understand the steroids things, but really, there's some people out there that have a grudge on some of these players, long grudge on some of these players just because they treated them bad or they were rude to them when that reporter was trying to get an interview. That's why that reporter doesn't vote him in for the Hall of Fame. It makes no sense whatsoever. MLB needs to drain the swamp of those reporters. They need to drain the swamp of those reporters. It's absolutely absurd, man. Some of those reporters, you're going to not vote someone in because you have a grudge on them because they were rude to you 15 years ago. You got to be out. You got to be out. Because, like my guy Callan McClurg always tells me in sports media, it's not about you. You got to take the personal stuff out of it. It's all about the sport. It's about what they do. Forget the personal stuff. It's about what they do, either on the football field, on the basketball court, or on the baseball field, or even on the hockey rink. So, Justin, some of those reporters out there, man, I don't even want to get into it. I'm just sick to my stomach. It's just absolutely absurd. Some of those like reporters' reasonings for not voting for certain guys. But the final card that we have here in this deck is, I don't even know where he is right now. Justin, and everybody else, if you guys can give me an answer as to where this player is currently, because I know he doesn't play for the Blue Jays, but Justin, I did get a Blue Jay, but it's not a current Blue Jay, and that is Justin Smoke. Justin Smoke, uh, first baseman, also played outfield, was a designated hitter at one point. Justin Smoke, I don't know where he is right now, but Justin Smoke, I got him. He's the last card on this deck. And the thing about Justin Smoke is the guy, he was up and down. He's kind of like Mitch Moreland. He struggled early in his career, then had, one or two good seasons after he changed his swing. He was, just a consistent power threat. He was a consistent power threat. He wasn't on par with guys like Starling Marte or Trevor Story or even a Matt Chapman or Bryce Harper in general. But, he was, every time he stepped up to the plate, he put fear into the pitchers because he could just launch one out of the ballpark any given pitch. So even though he wasn't, a superstar, he was a respectable MLB player, and I'm glad to have him as part of this deck. But that is, folks, that is actually the last card right now on this deck. If you guys missed it, we had Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Corbin Burns, Trey Turner, Justin Smoke, and last but not least, Trevor Story. I think it was a really, really good deck. We had 6 cards, at least like 5 out of the 6 of these guys are top 20 players in Major League Baseball right now. So I'm actually really happy with the deck that I got here, the top 2019 MLB baseball card deck. Really happy with what I got. Maybe, in the foreseeable future, I'll give you guys, or I'll do another show and open another deck of cards, and we'll see who I get then. But I feel really, really lucky to get some of these guys that I got in this deck. Justin has a couple of questions for me. He asked me, what's your take on the Penn State Nittany Lions? Do you have them beating Auburn? Justin, I'm going to say yes. I think they do it. I think they upset Auburn because Auburn's going to be going into a really, really, really tough environment on Saturday night against the Penn State Nittany Lions. It's going to be a whiteout, and I've seen the whiteouts. The whiteouts, they are very tough. They are very, very, very tough to play in if you're the opposing team. And I think Penn State, they got a great defense. I think Bo Nix is going to have a really tough opening or really tough task, not just with the crowd, not just with the environment, but with that defense as well. I think that defense will be swarming, and I think Penn State rides that defense to a win over Auburn. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm definitely looking forward to that game as well. A couple more questions from Justin. Is Ohio State overrated this year? My answer to that is heck yes. Heck yes, that Ohio State is overrated. Because let me tell you this. They played 2 games against Minnesota and Oregon, and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all by Ohio State. They are not even, in my opinion, they're not even a top 10 team in the country. CJ Stroud is overrated. This guy should have thrown at least 4 picks in that game at Oregon. He was throwing a lot of passes that were high, that the receivers either got fingertips on, or the Oregon defender somehow, some way just didn't come up with it. He should have at least thrown 4 picks. I mean, this guy, everybody's hyping him up like, oh my God, he's going to be the next Justin Fields. He's going to be the next great quarterback at Ohio State. Stop. Stop with that nonsense. He is not going to be the next great quarterback at Ohio State. This guy, he is overrated. He is very, very overrated. And I guarantee you, Ohio State's going to have at least 2-3 losses this season because their quarterback is very, very overrated. The running game is good. The offensive line, I don't know. When they're playing physical, talented teams, not like teams like Tulsa or Memphis or whatever, when they're playing teams that are on par with them in terms of talent-wise, like Oregon, they got exposed. Oregon's off defensive line without two of their best players on the defensive line. They pushed around Ohio State's offensive line. So Ohio State's offensive line is not that good. Ohio State's quarterback, he's overrated as heck. And their defense. Don't even get me started on their defense, man. Their defense is so porous right now that the run defense especially, they are getting beat every single week by the opposing team's running back. You have the Minnesota running back. The Minnesota running back was gashing Ohio State before he popped his Achilles and was out for the year. Then the Oregon running back, C.J. Verdell, they literally made C.J. Verdell look like the second coming of Emmitt Smith. That's how pathetic it was. He was gashing him from the left side. He was gashing him from the right side. They had no answers whatsoever. So Ohio State, that run defense is trash. And you look at Michigan. I know everybody's saying, oh, Isaiah, but Michigan is overrated. Jim Harbaugh's going to lose his job. And, Michigan, they're going to be trash this year and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Michigan, beware of Michigan, Ohio State, because that game against Ohio State is in Ann Arbor. You know how tough of an environment that is. You know the fans are going to be back. They're going to be jacked up. They want to see Michigan kick Ohio State's butt because it's been so long. They didn't play Ohio State last year. Jim Harbaugh, if he wins that game, he's probably going to get a 10-year extension. Michigan has two backs. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but they have two running backs. They gashed Western Michigan, both of them gashed Western Michigan. Put up over, I believe, like 300 yards rushing against Western Michigan combined between those two backs. Just on the ground, 300 plus yards. And then against Washington, those two backs put up 300 plus yards rushing combined between those two guys. Those two running backs are legit, man. They are dynamic backs, and they're going to give Ohio State problems. I'm guaranteeing you that right now. If C.J. Verdell looks like Emmitt Smith out there on the football field against Ohio State, how do you think those two running backs for Michigan are going to do against Ohio State? They're going to gash them. They guarantee you they run for over 400 yards against Ohio State in the poorest defensive front. So, yes, Ohio State, I guarantee you will have 2 or 3 losses by the end of this year. Justin says, this is Jim Harbaugh's year. Yes, it is, Justin. I think the biggest test, though, for Harbaugh, and even my guy Stephen Wegg admitted this when we were having our call, and that is the biggest test for Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, will be Wisconsin the first week of October. If they can go into Camp Randall against a Wisconsin team that's not really good on offense, really good on defense, though, if they can go into Camp Randall and beat Wisconsin, this Michigan team for sure is legit, and my confidence will be an all-time high that they will win the Big Ten. So that's the big test for Michigan. But it's been a great show, guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this special edition of the Night Shift. I really, really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't done so yet, please check out the MI6 Sports Network Facebook page. Like our Facebook page and follow us. You can find our podcast as well as our articles by various members of the MI6 Sports Network crew on there. You can also check out our YouTube page. You can find our short clips, our podcast on there as well. And also check out our Anchor as well. You can listen to our podcast there. And also, let me see. A couple of more announcements for you guys. if you haven't seen our schedule yet, this is our MI6 Sports Network new fall lineup that debuted this week. Monday Wild Sports Talk will be coming to you live after Monday Night Football with myself, Adam Barber, and Loro Antonio. Tuesdays, we don't know if we're gonna have a consistent Tuesday schedule because Callan, he's on kind of a mini hiatus. He's got work. So we don't know if the Sports Lounge will be on a consistent Tuesday, but check back with us every single Tuesday. We'll keep you guys updated. But the Sports Lounge for now is on Tuesdays. I will actually ask my guy Callum McClurg right now if he plans on having a Sports Lounge on next Tuesday. Then we have No BS. No BS with myself and Trevor Williams returns tomorrow, finally, after our summer break that we had. We haven't had that show for over 2 months, but we are back. Myself and Trevor Williams will be getting into the Ohio State-Oregon game. I know Trevor's going to have a lot to say about that game. And, we're going to talk about some NFL, MLB as well. And also, don't forget, the Power 5, folks, is coming back. That is going to be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thursdays, we got the night shift. Loro Antonio will be hosting it this Thursday after Thursday Night Football. And then we have WST, myself, with myself, Adam Ace Barber, and Loro Antonio at 6 p.m. Pacific on Friday night. Saturday, we got the night shift at 10:30 p.m. Pacific with myself, and I think Loro is going to hop in right now. And then Sunday, we got the extra point with myself, Loro, and Ben Kirst. That is going to be at 9 p.m. Pacific. So, and also I forgot Saturdays mornings, we got 6 for 6 with Trevor Williams as well. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But folks, it's been a great, great show. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Justin for all the fantastic questions and comments. And also, thank you to everybody that watched the program tonight, Roger Sanders, Jonathan Mathis, and Steve Dolan. We really, really appreciate you guys. But this is Isaiah Leong signing off. It's been a great show. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you guys back on here tomorrow as No BS is back with myself and Trevor Williams. Have a great night, everybody.